And we're back.
Are
Yesterday,
we? Are we? Because
yesterday
you said we
was
were back yesterday. What happened,
yesterday
Brad? What happened?
was potentially in recent history one of the best and worst days, I guess, in my life. I wasn't really going to bring this up, but I might as well. So yesterday we were trying to do the podcast. I come down, turn my computer on. Apparently, it's installing 1803 because I should honestly probably put this computer on the long-term servicing branch because every time it updates, the audio stack just completely gets wiped, and Microsoft just doesn't really care to ever, whatever. They say
Get
your
that right.
files are right where you left them, but not where your drivers are.
Right. Or your defaults, which is another huge problem. Just going from build to build in the Insider preview, it blows away defaults. I that's actually the hardest part about this process. But anywho, enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Oh, so Paul, remember like 6 weeks ago, I thought I passed a kidney stone.
I do remember that.
Turns out I didn't. Turns out that little thing decided it was just gonna hang out inside, and
So the
yesterday,
asteroid was just a meteor, and there were asteroids to come.
yes, this asteroid got stuck in low Earth orbit and had been causing me pain for.
Lower GI orbit, is that
Yeah,
what we're calling
I think that's probably fair. And it was one of those things that now that it's all like I passed it yesterday, and this thing is huge and it was very sharp, and it was honestly I almost passed out passing this thing, which would have been bad. But
it? Boy, yeah.
but I had been feeling like crap for honestly 5 weeks. My wife was like, "You got to figure this out." So I went to the urologist, I went to my doctor, and I guess whatever. And so they're like, one of my general practitioners like, "I think it's stuck." And he says, "I think that's the problem." The urologist actually was wrong, which he thought it was something else. So my general practitioner just gave me what's called Flomax, which just basically loosens everything up. And
Sure.
no kidding, 48,
Greases the wheels.
yeah, 24 hours after I started taking it, came right out. And I will tell you, I got the best sleep I've gotten since August last night. My wife just looked at me and she said, "You were just out." I was like, "Well, I feel great." So
Interesting.
life is good again. I'm
And women say we don't understand what childbirth is like.
Yeah, I was honestly so happy. I sent a picture to Paul. I sent one to Tim. I'm like, "Look what I just did." But it was like, as soon as it came out, my whole life just like got better. And then I came downstairs and turned my computer on, and 1803 was installing, and that cycle of shit just started all over again.
You should. I think it was today the New York Times published an article that the title is something like "Surprise Gall or not gallstones, kidney stones are beautiful looking" or something. And
Yeah, I'd like to punch that guy.
well, I think it was like one of those like macro level,
Yeah.
photographs of these things. I guess they do look like little, I don't know, diamonds or something. I don't know.
I got a couple carat stone upstairs. If that's worth something, please.
You're like an oyster. You're making your own pearls.
your stupid analogies.
Sorry. It's not funny. I mean, I'm not.
You're not
I'm
wrong,
sorry.
though.
feel
I mean, that's
terrible.
the thing. Like, you're not wrong. But whatever. So it wasn't more stones. It was just these stone flame. It was whatever. That's over. So life is good. I'm now looking forward to Ignite, which, as you can see, is happening right here in conveniently Orlando. Which, Paul, I looked at the temperature for today. It's going to be a stout 100 degrees.
Please stop. Please. Do you know what it's like to wear jeans in 90 degrees or 100-degree weather? Do you know what it's like? It's like, you ever, I don't know, what do you call that thing? We used to have this in art class.
Hell?
It was like you would stretch the plastic out, you would put something inside of it, and then you would use a hairdryer to tighten the plastic around that. And that's called shrink wrapping, I guess.
I used to do that when I worked at Staples. Yes. Shrink.
Yeah. I used to kind of make it like new again almost. We used to use it for just to cover artwork or whatever. But anyway, it's like that, except with denim. And I tell you, it doesn't wick away the sweat.
Yeah. If I remember, well, fortunately, Paul, for us, at least Monday and Tuesday, we can limit our outside exposure time because our hotel is actually connected to it, which I got to check to make sure everything's booked correctly. It should be. Not going to be a little problem if it's not. Is connected to that place, so we can limit our outdoor exposure. I actually remember it being cold inside that convention center because they probably just set it on max, because what else are they going to do when it's 100 degrees outside?
Getting coffee all over me. Right.
Fantastic.
And this will be reminiscent of VMworld if everything goes correctly, meaning we walk out of our hotel room, we walk indoors all the way to the convention center, and then we stay in there all day, and then we go back to the hotel, stay in the hotel bar, and never actually leave the facility.
Yeah, except we got a couple parties Tuesday that are
that's true.
outside.
Yeah, but by that point, the day that the thing's kind of over, so we can get into something more comfortable,
like our bathing suits.
Yeah, I was thinking of like a smoking jacket and slippers, but to each his own. But yeah, and then of course Sunday, you'll get in there earlier, so you'll experience this more than I will. But we're going to be outside basically all day Sunday, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we are doing behind the scenes video. We'll see. Actually, Paul, I got a new lens for that.
Nice.
It's a wide angle lens, so we don't have to like stick this thing so far out. It should actually make it a little bit better, hopefully. If not,
won't need as much upper body strength.
Yeah. So we will see how that goes. See if it's worthwhile. I have no idea. So that's going to happen. And apparently the Harman Kardon Invoke is...
it's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
When somebody drops the price by how do you do that? It's like by 80%, I think, is to 75% or whatever.
And it's not Black Friday.
No. No, it's just Black Death for Cortana. So, well, look, I mean, I know there are fans of the platform, and there are people who wanted this thing, and it was too expensive at $200. I mean, I think $150 was probably reasonable when it was new, but $50. I mean, if you just were curious and wanted to try this thing out, it's a nice speaker.
Yep.
I know I keep saying that, but it lacks many things. Some of it is related to Cortana, right? Cortana is lacking as a platform, obviously, but you can try the Amazon integration. I mean, I guess that's possible. But the big issue is you really can't do things like do stereo pairs. I mean,
right. 2
of these things in a room for $100, just even if you had a wire, I think there's an aux in, I don't remember, but it's a nice speaker.
It really is. And which kind of leads nicely into the next thing that Amazon is going to announce a bunch of, well, at least speakers, specifically a subwoofer that's going to tie perfectly into your Echo ecosystem. And I think that's going to
call it your Echo system.
I think that's going to be a big seller for them, and just going to ignore the policy. I think that actually makes me a little worried about Sonos, because that's right up their alley.
Well, you know what? It's funny. Amazon has come up a lot this week, and then after the talk we had the other day, I sent you this article about the EU, and I wrote an article too, but saying it's kind of interesting, like that. This complaint is kind of what I just kind of came up with, and it was because of something you said, and I was like, it's really interesting that Google is like the gateway to the internet, but Amazon is the gateway to shopping, and it's both of those are very lucrative. But if you want to spin up offerings based on what people are searching for, well, maybe this isn't. I was going to say it's easier to do it if you're Amazon. That's probably not true, but you have a lot of opportunities there. When you're, it's probably as easy or not as easy. But by virtue of the fact of seeing what people want, they can do this. And of course, with the Echo stuff, there's a lot more inputs there, because you can see what Google and their ecosystem is doing, and that's about it, I guess. Samsung, well, no, Apple and Siri, whatever. So yeah, tomorrow's going to be interesting. I still think that Amazon is plays primarily in the low end of the market, right? Even though in some cases they do have luxury devices. Echo, certainly they do. The Kindle ebooks they do. The Kindle Fire things they do not.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think there's going to be an increased integration between like the Fire devices, like you see in the living room, and the Echo stuff. And an expansion of what that means, the different device types. So it's going to be interesting regardless.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how this plays out. I mean, I think they make good stuff. It's working well for them, and kumbaya, life goes on. And it's honestly probably good, because I don't think Apple's going to branch out here anytime soon in any meaningful way, and I have no desire to get a HomePod. And so basically, it's going to probably come down to pretty much Google and Amazon here for mass market. Apple's just
I'm positive. Sorry, go ahead.
Apple's just going to stay in their little niche market, make a whole bunch of money doing that, which is perfectly fine. There was a report out actually this week. I forgot to kind of read deeper, but it was something. It showed that I think Apple has like 60% of the smartphone revenue for phones over $400 or something like that. And
Sure.
that they're going to make money hand over fist, and they'll do that with HomePod if they can, figure it out. And they don't need to be mass market for that. So,
Right. Yeah, the Apple model is not something anyone else can copy. As a random aside, and this is truly random, yesterday I just happened to come across Steve Jobs introducing the first HomePod from 10 years ago-ish. It was called iPod Hi-Fi.
a hi-fi. Yep.
So it's this giant boombox looking thing. And, it had all kinds of technology. It sounded great. It had the old 30-pin connector on the top. And remember, they used to have the little cutouts so you could put the different types of devices in there and it would sit securely. There was an aux in, so the thing could conceivably, be future-proof that way, I guess. And, of course, they only
looks
had the
like that.
Yeah, there you go. It was a big honking thing. And, it looked especially weird because it had the little iPod would stick out of the top of it, just kind of goofy. After doing that, because once you view something like that, you start getting these recommendations. And there's some third-party video blogger guy who compared that introduction to the HomePod introduction, and they literally make multiple times the same exact claims for both products. Like the way they introduce them is identical. And then the price was identical too, $349. But of course, you can stereo pair HomePod now, which is nice, and have multiple rooms. It does all this stuff. And if you're that far up Apple's, but enjoy that. But I strongly recommend never getting something like that. You have Sonos. I think that's smart because it's kind of a multi-platform thing. If you decide later for some reason to go Android, you lose your mind, whatever. That stuff will all still work. And HomePod is such a, it's right there in that Apple ecosystem.
Yep. What else is going on? There was a lot of stuff yesterday, but
Yeah, so I just got it, and I haven't even signed into it yet, but I did get an HP NVX2, but it's the Intel version. It's slightly different. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to have to take some side-by-side photos, but the way the type cover, or whatever they call it, attaches to it is completely different. And I don't believe that this version offers a way to tilt the keyboard a little bit, which I actually kind of like. It's probably a little thicker. It doesn't seem it's not thick, but I mean, it's probably a little thicker. And, but it's based on an Intel chip, right? So this is going to be a really interesting comparison. So here's all you need to know about this device. If I show up at Ignite using this, it went well. If I show up at Ignite with a Surface Book, I had second thoughts. But I'm hoping,
I think I'm actually going to take a Surface Pro.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with this one, but I don't know. Just mix it up and revisit that.
How nice would it be to carry something that light?
Right. Well, that's kind of the idea. And I got a new bag, so a new laptop bag. And
you don't have the thing that like they threw at Mars and it bounced on the surface and then opened up and it became Brad's bag.
That is a good backpack, and I take that personally.
There's like an egg inside that never broke.
He's being a jerk today, and we're not even in Orlando yet.
Well, so the issue is, unlike you, I had a really crappy night's sleep last night.
Yeah.
And that might be what I don't know.
Yeah, other fun facts, which I've been watching this somewhat closely. I could still pre-order an iPhone X 256 gigabyte in gold and get it tomorrow from Verizon.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Now I cannot do that for silver. It would show up October 3rd, and space gray.
You got to remember October 3rd. It's not exactly a long time from now.
No. That's actually my wedding anniversary and the day that I get back from whatever it's called. We're going to.
Yep.
Inferno hell.
Yes.
So
I was going to buy one of these things. If I was,
I
would get the gold one. I think I've not seen one in person.
I'm actually going up to. I don't. Do you know if the Apple stores have? Oh, I gotta correct you on something by the way.
I've been meaning to check into that.
Yeah, I gotta go look and see. I gotta go to the mall and buy literally new pants for this thing tomorrow.
So I'm kind of hoping that there's like a 50-50 chance I'm going to see you on Sunday and you're actually going to have this phone because you went to a store and they were like, yeah, we have it.
Well, they won't have it. I can't buy it today.
No, I mean, whenever you could go. Oh, you're leaving early though.
Yeah,
When
I'm
do you come?
leaving tomorrow.
I mean, oh, you're leaving tomorrow. Are we not doing a show tomorrow?
I feel like we've talked about this. Actually, I know we have. Yeah, we're not. There's no show tomorrow, Paul.
Okay.
Because I mean, you could do one solo and maybe call me if you really wanted to
Now
feel
I
adventurous.
remember.
But
Now I remember. There is
Yeah.
no show tomorrow. That's right. When do you leave tomorrow?
our flight leaves at 6 a.m.
Oh, yikes. So
Yeah.
kind of like my flight, except 3
Well,
days early.
it's even worse than your flight because there is a direct from Cincinnati to Orlando, and that's what I'm taking home. But because my wife and kid are coming, we're actually flying through Atlanta because to cash in my frequent flyer miles, I could get 2 tickets for that flight hop, or the direct was twice as expensive. So I was like, well, looks like we're going through Atlanta.
So here's how I would have handled this. I would have booked my flight separately since Work's paying for it and would have flown direct. And I would have been like, I'll meet you there.
Well, here's what I actually did do, Paul. I was given the upgrade opportunity, not to first class, by the way. This was just for Delta Comfort. I get it 99% of the time. And they said,
Comfort's the best.
hey, do you want to move up there? But then I realized the 2 seats next to me were available, and I wasn't sitting next to my wife and kid. And for some reason, I'm now sitting next to my wife and kid on these flights because I don't see them enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think my flight is direct, but I think it's 90 minutes.
Well, it's got to be longer than that.
It's 2.5 hours.
I bet it's 2 because for me, it's 90 minutes to Atlanta and then 90 minutes to Orlando. But if it was a direct, I think it was 2 hours.
Yeah, you're right. 2.5 hours. So, 2.5 hours isn't a huge time to be separate. Plus, the kid can run up the island, visit you and stuff. And
Yeah, well, that's not
you can
happening.
call the flight attendant and make sure she gets taken back to her real seat because
Like,
that's
who,
unacceptable.
who is this kid?
Exactly.
Don't touch me with that meringue on your hands or whatever that is.
Well,
So
okay.
I don't know. Maybe Tuesday we can. If there was a Verizon store nearby, I would be potentially tempted on Tuesday to just swing on by to see if they have a phone. But
Good luck finding time on Tuesday.
Yeah, which is-
well, you might have time. I have Windows Weekly and the Windows Weekly meetup, and it's just going to be a hell day. But your family flies on what, Monday?
Mhm. Yep.
Same deal. They're going to fly through Atlanta again.
No, there's directs on the way home for everybody.
That's good.
So yeah, I'll end up getting one of these phones here. I'd like to see the gold in person, I think, before I end up looking like whatever Goldfinger from Bond. So
Nice. That'd be a good name for that phone, actually, Goldfinger.
it would be. The other good name is Not Selling Out.
I just realized this thing this cable is kind of weirdly situated. Why is that? I can't take it off and look at it without, then I can't hear you. But look, it's like way up on. Why is it up there?
He's asking me questions about his own headphones, which he's had for a number of years.
New pair. See, I replaced the one I was using previously.
Oh.
I don't know. I'll look at that later.
You got anything else before, I guess when we sign it off, our next show will be, I don't know if Monday is live, but it's definitely from the show floor because we're in this pop-up hamster hole.
Yeah, right. Is that live? I don't know.
I
The
don't
Tuesday
know.
one will be live.
Absolutely will be. Big announcements on Tuesday. Not so much Microsoft. Well, I guess it's Microsoft related, but it's not so much from Microsoft, I guess. Maybe it's
Be
from
more
us.
cryptic, please. Oh, from us.
Yeah. Paul just, the adult in the room is on this side, and Paul just shows up and does his thing and then goes back into the green room.
It eats all the fruit. Yep.
Yeah. Tuesday, I believe, is 12:30 to 1:30, and it's actually in the Ignite little scheduler app. And I believe Monday is the exact same time, but it's actually from Hall C rather than the live podcast stage.
Yeah. I think that is 12:30.
Because the jerks of Microsoft won't let anybody on that stage on Monday because they're taking the whole thing.
Is that what that is? I mean, I sort of assumed it was because there were so many
Nope.
podcasters or whatever. Okay, so they're taking control.
No, we actually have pretty high status with them because if you remember last year, Paul, well, we've done it. This is our, second year? Third year?
Third year, I think, because we were in Atlanta before, right? I think we launched this podcast
In Atlanta.
at Microsoft Ignite Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got pretty good. Like they like us, and they know that
One
we.
second. Hold on. Chicago. Did we do anything in Chicago? Or was that Chicago?
No,
before?
we didn't. I was not with the company in Chicago. Remember?
Yeah, but I feel like they went from Chicago to.
Oh, Ignite was in
Orlando.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Went from Chicago to Atlanta to Orlando.
You sure?
Pretty
I
sure.
don't remember. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Yeah.
I believe that we launched this podcast in Atlanta at that giant convention center. Remember, we got lost.
Yes, it was Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, anyways, they like us because we do. They like us, and so they kind of give us. They don't give us whatever we want, but we had, I think, first crack at the time slots. Yep. And so we were trying to get on that stage, and they said, nope. Microsoft's had it booked up, I think, all the way until like 5:00 on Monday, and it's like,
Yeah. I mean, those guys are great. My God, do they send emails?
yes, yes.
There's kind of a meeting heavy culture at Microsoft that maybe could be eased up on a little bit. It's a big company.
A little bit, and I've gotten more email invites for just like, oh, you're coming to Ignite. Would you like to meet with XYZ? It's kind of. I feel like there's not a lot of press that go to this.
Which is weird, but I guess
Kind of,
the type of press we kind of mingle with is mostly consumer guys, And Ignite is not that.
So.
Yeah, it's not that.
All right, you got anything else for today, Mr. Paul?
No, I'll try to get up a write-up about the HP NVX2, the Intel version, and I think that's the big thing. So, I'll try to do that today.
Fantastic.
How about you?
I'm going to go buy pants. Literally pants. And then I got to pack and get all that stuff done. And then the kid doesn't know what we're doing, but she knows that Paul's going to be there, and she is far too excited about this once again. And
well, I'm very happy to see her as well.
This will be it'll be interesting. All right, folks. So that wraps it up. Next thing will be from Ignite. Paul and I will be flying down there. You can find out everything on actually on Petri and Thurrott, and of course we'll be posting the podcast. And you can check out if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you probably should, because that's where it's going to blast out to live, along with a couple Microsoft properties. But have yourselves a wonderful week, and we'll catch you from Orlando.